My name is Suzanne M. Foster, and I'm 29 years old. I came home 3 days early from a work trip to surprise my boyfriend, Daniel, with a ring hidden in my carry-on and a future I thought we were both still building. Instead, I found him in our bedroom packing the big suitcase, the one we had bought together for the Europe trip we kept promising ourselves we would take someday. The apartment was quiet when I opened the door, but not empty quiet, tense quiet, the kind of quiet that waits for you before it ruins your life. Daniel was folding shirts with careful hands, not rushed, not panicked. The suitcase was open on the bed, already half full. "Hey," I said from the doorway, "what's going on?" He jumped and turned around. For 1 second he looked guilty, then his face hardened, like I was the inconvenience. "You're back early." "Meeting's wrapped up. I wanted to surprise you." I stepped farther into the room, looking from his clothes to the suitcase. "Where are you going?" He sighed. Actually sighed, like I had asked something unreasonable. "Suzanne, we need to talk." Those words dropped into my stomach like stones. "Okay," I said carefully. "Then talk." He kept packing, would not look at me. "I'm moving out. I've been meaning to tell you, but the timing was never right." "Moving out?" I repeated. "What does that mean? Did something happen?" "I'm fine," he said. "More than fine, actually." He zipped a makeup-sized toiletry bag, though everything inside belonged to him. "I've been seeing someone else." For a moment, the room stretched away from me. "What?" "Lena. She's in pharmaceutical sales. We met at that networking event 4 months ago. Remember when I came home late that Thursday?" 4 months. My brain caught on that number and would not let go. "You've been cheating on me for 4 months?" "Don't say it like that." "How else should I say it?" "We grew apart, Suzanne. You had to feel it too." "I thought we were tired, busy. I thought we were saving for a house. I thought—" I stopped because the sentence was too humiliating to finish. "I thought we were still us." Daniel laughed softly, not because anything was funny, but because apparently my confusion was exhausting. "That's exactly the problem. Your solution to everything is to talk it through, plan it out, process it to death. Some things don't need processing, some things just are. We've been together 6 years. "I know," he said, finally looking at me. His eyes were cold in a way I had never seen. "I wasted my 20s on you." The words hung between us. I could not speak. He kept going, like now that the first knife was out, the rest were easier. "Do you know what it's like listening to my friends talk about spontaneous trips, rooftop parties, new restaurants? And I have to say, we meal prepped on Saturday because we're saving for a down payment. Do you know how pathetic that sounds?" "We agreed on that future." "I agreed when I was 23. I'm not that person anymore. Lena makes me feel alive. She's spontaneous. She doesn't make me feel like I'm auditioning to be someone's suburban husband in training." Each word was clean and precise. He had rehearsed this. Maybe not aloud, but inside himself for months. "You told me last month you loved our life," I said. "I was lying to myself. Maybe to you too." Then his phone buzzed. He looked down and smiled before he could stop himself. That hurt more than I expected. "Is she picking you up?" He looked almost relieved that I understood. "In 20 minutes. I walked into the living room and sat on the couch we had assembled together at midnight years ago because we were too excited to wait. From the bedroom, I heard drawers closing, fabric rustling, his phone buzzing again. Once, he laughed under his breath. He was texting her while I sat 15 feet away with an engagement ring hidden in my luggage. 20 minutes later, he rolled the suitcase past me. "I'll text you about the rest of my things," he said. "We can be adults about this." I looked up then and realized I was staring at a stranger wearing my boyfriend's face. "Get out, Daniel." He blinked. "Excuse me?" "You heard me." He opened his mouth, then shut it. Maybe there was nothing left to say because he had already said everything. The door closed behind him. I went to the window and watched a silver Audi pull up. Lena stepped out, tall, polished, expensive looking. She hugged him, kissed him, and helped load the suitcase into her trunk like she had been waiting for my life to clear space for hers. Then they drove away. I sat in the dark for 3 hours, not crying, not moving, just existing between who I had been that morning and whoever I would have to become next. The next morning, I called in sick, not because I had food poisoning like I told my boss, but because my entire life had been gutted in front of me, and I did not know how to walk into an office pretending spreadsheets mattered. I stood in the bedroom for a long time, looking at the spaces Daniel had emptied. His side of the closet still had hangers swinging slightly from where he had yanked shirts free. His cologne was gone. His running shoes were gone. The drawer where he kept old birthday cards from me was still full. That was when I saw the ring box in my carry-on. I had forgotten it was there. Custom made, simple but beautiful. Exactly the kind of ring Daniel once described when we were lying in bed at 24, talking about someday like it was guaranteed. I opened the box and stared at it until the diamond blurred. I had come home early to ask him to spend forever with me. He had been packing to leave me for another woman. I closed the box and put it in the bottom of my bag. Then I started packing. I did it systematically because if I stopped to feel anything, I knew I would fall apart. Clothes, documents, laptop, chargers, the framed photo of my parents, my grandmother's bracelet, books I actually cared about. Everything that was mine went into boxes or trash bags. Everything that was his, I left exactly where it was. Let him come back for the leftovers of the life he said he had wasted. I called the landlord and explained the situation as calmly as I could. He was kinder than I expected. His wife had left him years earlier, he said, and he understood that sometimes leases had to bend because life broke first. He let me give 60 days' notice. Then I called my friend Mara. "Hey," I said, and my voice sounded strange even to me. "Can I crash at your place for a while?" There was no hesitation. "Of course. What happened?" "Daniel left me for someone else." A pause. Then softly, "Come over whenever. Bring everything you need." I packed my car, took one last look at the apartment, and left my key on the counter. I did not leave a note. Daniel had given me enough words for both of us. At Mara's place, she tried to get me to rage, to cry, to break a glass, something. "You're being too calm," she said. "It's freaking me out." "What do you want me to do?" "I don't know. Be furious. He cheated for 4 months and then told you he wasted his 20s on you." "I know." "And?" And it happened. That was all I had. I did not feel angry yet. I felt hollow, like someone had scooped out everything inside me and left a woman-shaped shell going through the motions. The next day, I blocked Daniel's number, then Instagram, Facebook, email, every platform where he might try to rewrite what happened before I could breathe. I deleted the apps from my phone, too. I did not want to see Lena's silver Audi, expensive restaurants, spontaneous trips, the life he left me for. I did not want to torture myself with proof that he was happy. For 2 months, I functioned. Work, gym, sleep. Mara said Daniel was posting constantly with Lena. Nashville one weekend, rooftop bars, fancy dinners. "It looks like he's proving something," she said. "Good for him," I answered. "You don't want to see?" "No." "You don't care?" I don't know what I feel, but watching him perform happiness won't help me figure it out. Then my boss called me into her office. "Suzanne," she said, folding her hands on the desk, "we're opening a new division in Seattle. I want you to head the project management team, senior PM, substantial raise, full relocation package." "Seattle," I repeated. "Across the country," she said. "I know, but I think you're ready, and honestly, it seems like you could use a fresh start." She did not say Daniel's name. She did not need to. Office gossip travels fast when someone's long-term boyfriend leaves her for a woman who posts everything like a billboard. "When would I start?" I asked. 6 weeks. I thought about it for 3 seconds. "I'll do it." That night, for the first time in weeks, I felt something other than numbness. Not joy, not yet, but possibility. Seattle was cold and gray and far away from the apartment where Daniel packed 6 years into a suitcase. Far away from Lena, from pitying looks, from the version of myself who still had a ring hidden in her bag. I was getting out, and this time, nobody was coming with me. Seattle was cold and gray and perfect. Not perfect in the pretty postcard way, but perfect because it did not know me. Nobody there knew I had been the woman sitting in the dark while her boyfriend left with another woman. Nobody asked careful questions about whether I was holding up. Nobody looked at me like I was a sad story walking through a hallway. I was just Suzanne, the new senior project manager from out of state, the woman who showed up early, worked late, and knew how to keep a project from falling apart. I threw myself into work because work made sense. Deadlines were deadlines. Budgets were budgets. Problems had names, owners, and action items. My new team was sharp and chaotic in the best way, and for the first time in months, I felt present in my own life instead of watching it happen to someone else. I joined a gym, then a rock climbing class. Then, on a rainy Saturday, I bought a used camera and started walking around the city, taking pictures of wet sidewalks, fairy lights, old brick buildings, strangers under umbrellas. I was not trying to reinvent myself. I was just trying to remember that I existed outside of Daniel's disappointment. 5 months after the breakup, I got a text from an unknown number. "Hey, can we talk?" I knew immediately it was him. My body knew before my brain did. That little drop in my stomach, the ghost of an old reflex. I deleted it. The next day, another message came. "I know you're getting these." Then, "You could at least respond. We were together for 6 years." Then, "Lena and I are taking a break. I've been thinking about everything." Then, "I made mistakes. Can we just talk, please?" I read each one, felt almost nothing, and deleted them. A week later, I changed my number. 2 months after that, Mara called. She still lived back home, still heard things through people who thought gossip counted as concern. "I ran into Daniel yesterday," she said. I was making coffee in my Seattle kitchen, watching rain blur the window. "Okay?" "He looks rough, Suze. Really rough." "What did he want?" "He asked about you. I told him you moved to Seattle and you're doing well. Was that okay?" "It's fine." She hesitated. "Lena dumped him. Apparently she was seeing other men the whole time. He found out from some guy's Instagram story. He moved back in with his parents." I stirred my coffee, even though it did not need stirring. "That's rough." "That's it?" Mara asked. "That's all you've got?" "What do you want me to say?" "I don't know. He destroyed you, and now he's destroyed. I thought you'd feel something." I leaned against the counter and thought about it honestly. I feel bad for him, but not in a way that belongs to me anymore. A week later, my office phone rang. I answered without thinking. "Suzanne, please don't hang up." Daniel's voice, shaking, familiar, unwelcome. "How did you get this number?" "I called your office and said I was your brother. I know that was wrong, I just needed to hear your voice. I should have hung up, I know that. But curiosity kept me there. Not hope. Never hope. I'm listening, I said. I made a mistake, he rushed out. A huge one. Lena wasn't who I thought she was. She was seeing other men. She never took me seriously. I was just something fun to her. I'm sorry that happened to you. I threw away something real for something fake. I see that now. I've been thinking about us, about what we had. I want to fix this. There's nothing to fix. Suzanne, please. I know I hurt you. I know I said terrible things, but I was scared. I thought settling down meant losing myself. No, I said softly. You thought I was the thing holding you back. He went quiet. Then he said, Do you forgive me? I looked around my apartment. My camera on the shelf, my climbing shoes by the door, the rain outside, a life he had no part in. Yes, I said. But forgiveness does not mean access. I want another chance. I'm seeing someone. The silence on the line was immediate and heavy. What? His name is Caleb. We met through work. It's been 10 months. 10 months? His voice cracked. We were together 6 years. You left me for someone you had known 4 months. 10 seems reasonable. This is different. It always is when it happens to you. He started crying then, quietly at first, then openly. You can't just replace 6 years. I didn't replace them. I survived them. Suzanne, I wanted you. I always wanted you. I just didn't know until everything fell apart. You wanted me after Lena made you feel temporary, I said. That is not the same as loving me. He whispered my name, but it no longer worked like a key. I hope you figure out what you want, Daniel, but it is not going to be with me. Then I hung up and blocked the office extension he had used. For the first time, I did not cry afterward. I made another cup of coffee and went back to work. 4 months after that phone call, Daniel's mother called me. I almost did not answer, but some old reflex kicked in. I had always liked Patricia. She had been kind to me when Daniel and I were together, the kind of woman who remembered my coffee order and sent birthday cards early. But kindness from the edges of a broken relationship still belongs to the broken relationship, and I should have known the call was not really about me. Suzanne, honey, she said, her voice soft and careful. I know this is awkward, but I wanted to talk to you about Daniel. I closed my eyes. I don't think that's a good idea. He's really struggling. He made a terrible mistake. We all know that. But you two were together for 6 years. He's realized what he lost. With respect, Patricia, that is not my responsibility anymore. He needs closure, she said. You blocked him. You left the state. You won't talk to him. That's not fair. I felt the old guilt reach for me, but it did not find the same woman. He got closure when he packed a suitcase and told me he wasted his 20s on me. He didn't mean those things. Maybe, but he said them, and I believed him. Her tone changed then, just slightly. You're being cruel. No, I said. I'm being honest. I hope Daniel heals, I really do. But he cannot use me as the place he crawls back to because Lena hurt him. I ended the call before she could make me feel like the villain in a story Daniel had written with both hands. The next week, his best friend Hannah messaged me on LinkedIn, one of the few places I had forgotten to block. You're being really cold. He knows he messed up. Everyone makes mistakes. The Suzanne I knew would have at least let him apologize properly. I stared at that sentence for a long time. The Suzanne she knew was the one who still thought love meant absorbing impact quietly. I blocked her too. Then came the email. Long, single-spaced, sent at 2:47 a.m. It started as an apology. Daniel wrote that leaving me was the biggest mistake of his life, that he thought about me every day, that Lena had been a fantasy, an escape, and that I had been real. Then, halfway through, the apology curdled. He wrote that I had disappeared too easily, that I never fought for us, that maybe I had never really loved him if I could erase 6 years so completely. It ended with, maybe Lena was a mistake, but at least she made me feel something. I read it twice. Then, I deleted it. 2 years after Daniel walked out of our apartment, I got invited to Jake's wedding back home. Jake was an old college friend, one of the few people who had stayed consistently in touch after I moved to Seattle. "Bring Caleb," he said over the phone. "I want to meet the guy who got you smiling again." Caleb and I were engaged by then, not dramatically, not with fireworks or a restaurant full of strangers. He proposed during a rainy hike when we were both muddy and laughing because I had slipped twice and refused to admit the trail was too hard. The ring was simple, warm, perfect. Nothing about Caleb felt like performance. He chose me every day in small, steady ways, and after Daniel, that steadiness felt like sunlight. "Fair warning," Jake added. "Daniel is invited. He knows Rachel from college. I wanted to tell you in case that's weird." I waited for fear, for nausea, for anything. "It's fine," I said. "That was a long time ago." At the engagement party the night before the wedding, Caleb held my hand while I introduced him to people from my old life. He was easy with them, warm without trying too hard, funny without needing the room to applaud. I was getting drinks at the bar when I saw Daniel. He looked smaller. Not physically exactly, just diminished. Tired around the eyes, expensive suit hanging on him like he had bought confidence and lost the receipt. "Suzanne," he said. "Daniel." His eyes flicked across the room to Caleb, who was laughing with Jake. "Is that him?" "My fiancé, Caleb." Something in his face broke. "Wow. Congratulations." "Thank you." He swallowed. "Do you ever think about us? What we could have been?" I looked at him and searched for the old ache. The woman who would have begged him to stay. The woman who sat in the dark after he left. I could not find her. "Not really," I said. "That person you dated does not exist anymore." His voice cracked. "I threw away the best thing I ever had." "You made a choice," I said. "We both did. Do you forgive me?" I thought about it. Really thought about it. "Yes," I said. "I forgive you, but that does not change anything." He stared at me. "It could." "No, Daniel. Forgiveness means I stopped carrying what you did to me. It does not mean I want you back." Then Caleb appeared beside me, perfectly timed, his hand gentle at my back. "Hey, Jake's about to do a toast." Daniel looked at him, then at me, and finally understood that I had not replaced him. I had moved beyond him. "Good to see you," I said. "Take care of yourself." Then I took Caleb's hand and walked away. The next day was Jake's wedding, and somehow life kept moving with or without Daniel's regret. I was in the bridal party orbit most of the morning because Jake's fiancé had adopted me quickly, the way warm people do when they decide you belong before you have to prove it. Caleb helped carry garment bags, made my coffee exactly how I liked it, and laughed with strangers like he had known them for years. Every time I looked at him, I felt a quiet gratitude that did not need explaining. During the ceremony, I saw Daniel sitting on the bride's side. He watched me more than he watched the vows. I noticed, then let it pass. That was the difference now. His attention used to feel like weather. If he was warm, I relaxed. If he was cold, I panicked. Now it was just something happening across the room. At the reception, I danced with Caleb. I laughed with Jake. I gave a toast about finding people who make commitment feel less like a cage and more like a home you choose every day. I did not say Daniel's name. I did not need to. Some lessons do not deserve a spotlight. Later, I stepped outside for air. The night was cool, and the music from inside came through the walls in soft bursts. I had barely taken 2 breaths before I heard his voice. "Suzanne, please, just 1 more minute." I turned. Daniel stood a few feet away, hands in his pockets, face pale under the patio lights. "You already had one," I said. "I know. I just need you to really hear me this time." I should have walked away, but I was not afraid of him anymore, and maybe that made listening easier. 1 minute, he swallowed. "I know I don't deserve another chance. I know I said unforgivable things. But I need you to understand I was terrified. Terrified of turning 30 and feeling like my life was already planned. The house, the kids, the quiet weekends. Lena represented everything I thought I was missing. She was exciting and careless and new." "I understand that," I said. "Do you?" His voice cracked. "Because leaving you was the worst decision I ever made. Every day after got worse. I lost you. I lost our future. I lost myself. And you just moved on like it was easy." "It was not easy," I said. "And you were not nothing. But I could not stay in love with someone who looked me in the eye and called 6 years of my life a waste." "I didn't mean it." "Yes, you did. Maybe you regret it now, but in that moment, you meant every word." "So what am I supposed to do?" he whispered. "Just live with knowing I destroyed the best thing in my life?" "Yes," I said softly. "You learn from it. You become better. You find someone else someday and do not punish her for loving you." "What if there isn't anyone else? What if you were it?" "Then you will be alone," I said, and I hated how sad that sounded. "And I am sorry if that is true. But I spent my 20s building a life with you. You told me those years were wasted, so I spent my 30s building a life I actually chose." He looked toward the glowing windows where Caleb was probably wondering where I had gone. "He will never know you like I did." "You were right," I said. "He knows me better. He knows who I am now, not who I was trying to be for someone who stopped appreciating me." Daniel's eyes filled. "I can't accept that it's really over." "It has been over for 2 years. You are the only one still standing in the doorway. I love you." "No," I said gently. "You love the security I represented. You love the idea of undoing what you did. But you do not know me anymore, Daniel, and I am not coming back just so you can feel forgiven." Behind him, Caleb appeared in the doorway. "Suzanne, Jake's about to cut the cake." "I'm coming." I looked at Daniel one last time. "I hope you find peace. I really do. But it is not me. It has not been me for a long time." Then I walked back inside and took Caleb's hand. Through the window, I could see Daniel standing alone in the dark, watching a life he no longer had permission to enter. Caleb leaned close and asked, "You okay?" "Yeah," I said. And I was. Closure was not Daniel apologizing. It was the moment I stopped needing him to understand. He thought he wasted his 20s on me. Maybe he did. But I did not waste my 30s mourning someone who never deserved the best years of my life. Daniel was not my great love. He was my lesson. Caleb is my story, and this time, I chose it.